From what I've been researching, various JDL leaders had a history of challenging and combating the Confederate flag. As the examples I seem to remember is when Irv Rubin burned both swastika and rebel flag in Reno, California. Josh Geyer, JDL Missouri chapter chairman, referred to the Confederate flag as American swastika on some talk show. Recently, JDL Florida announced to lead a campaign against the Confederate flag all around the country. There were many Jews who fought for the CSA, Confederate States of America, during the American Civil War, so I basically don't see any problems waving it. Was JDL always like this, or you had different attitudes toward the flag? What was Kahana's personal view on CSA, unquote? Well, the answer is that Irv Rubin and the various other people you're mentioning, they're not JDL. And Irv Rubin was, the so-called JDL. They destroyed what was once a holy and sacred organization. When Rabbi Kahana and I were running the Jewish Defense League, the JDL, this was a holy organization that was fighting to save our brothers and sisters in the Soviet Union and fighting for Israel and fighting for Jewish rights and Jewish honor. And it was a truly right-wing organization. Irv Rubin took it over, he never really took anything over. He created a so-called California chapter in Los Angeles and completely distorted everything JDL stood for in order to get contributions from the self-hating Jews in Hollywood. Of course, there's no comparison between the Confederate flag and the swastika. It's complete nonsense. There is nothing wrong with the Confederate flag. There is nothing wrong with waving the Confederate flag. There is nothing wrong with displaying the Confederate flag. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's completely absurd. And Rubin's campaign, was just an example of how evil he was. And how he did things that were destructive. Rabbi Kahana had nothing against the Confederate flag. I personally went with Rabbi Kahana to the South when he spoke in Tennessee and in other places where there was a Confederate flag in back of him while he was speaking. In other words, his guests, he didn't put up the flag, but his guests had a Confederate flag and an American flag in back of him while he was speaking. So Rabbi Kahana had no problem with the Confederacy or the Confederate flag whatsoever, and neither did the real JDL. And the real JDL was the JDL of Rabbi Kahana and Chaim ben Pesach.